this relationship has served its purpose. And I pray that you get to a place where you can collect the wisdom of the experience of the relationship and you can move on with your life in a way that best serves you, that doesn't put you in further damage and hurt and pain. Hey friends, welcome back to From Pieces to Purpose. I am your host, Justice, and this is our safe space. Our safe space where we're healing from heartbreak, reclaiming our whole lives back, and going out and living on purpose for a purpose. So today's gonna be one of those episodes where we're gonna get into it. We're gonna go there, we're gonna talk about it. Now I wanna share my perspective before I give you my input on how I feel like you should move on from your ex in the best way. I'm coming from the perspective of someone who has had plenty of exes. One of those being a divorce. And so the big kahuna breakups, I've been through it, and I would say that I successfully moved through it. Let me start off by saying I don't really like when people say, help me move on. Like, how do I move on? It gives this perception that the only goal is to arrive to this place where this never happened to me. And that's unrealistic. You may continue to be triggered by the person, your ex. It doesn't mean that they have control over your life and that your life has to stay in the moment when you guys broke up. You can move through it and move on in your life after it. And so that's what this video is talking about today. The first thing I would tell you to do if you just broke up with your boyfriend or you just went through a divorce, first thing I would tell you to do is go to therapy. One of the greatest mistakes you can make is going through this journey alone and going through it isolated by yourself, thinking that you can do it alone. Your own knowledge and wisdom is going to carry you from where you are now to where you want to be. And that's just not true. I like to think of my therapist as a person assigned to me. I feel like she specifically was assigned to Justice, but that's a whole nother story. It's a person assigned to me to help point out my blind spots. Your therapist is someone to point out your blind spots. There are ways in which you show up that you can't see how it could be damaging you or could be damaging to you or for you or whatever. Go to therapy because you just went through something that was hard. It was difficult, and you want someone to be able to support you and not just support you, but give you language to what you're feeling and dealing with inside. You can tell your therapist what you're going through or what's happening in your life, and they could say, yeah, that makes sense. That's normal for someone who's grieving. And then all of a sudden you feel like, oh, I'm not this unicorn who had this unique experience where my life is falling apart. No, this is normal. I'm grieving the loss of a person that was once in my life. That's normal and that's okay. And you need that voice in your life, especially when your heart feels like it's in pieces. So the next thing that I would tell you to do is cut off all of the sad stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all them sad R&B songs, that playlist that you play when you want to be in your feelings, that TikTok algorithm scrolling through all these sad girl posts. Get rid of all of that stuff. Remove it. Get off of social media for a season if you have to, which I highly recommend. Is that a point? Let me see. Yeah, get off of social media. We're going to add that to the list. Go ahead and get off of social media. Along with those sad songs, those sad movies, all of the sad, sappy stuff, we're removing all of that out of our vision, out of our ears, all of that. We're guarding ourselves. We're guarding our heart. Why? Because those things are not beneficial to you in your healing journey. After listening to a sad playlist. Now here's the thing. Actually, let me say this. There is a time and place for the sad playlist. You're going through a breakup, and rather than getting busy and trying to avoid feeling how you feel, those sad songs could come in and help you feel those emotions that you're already feeling, to kind of get them out and move through them and express them. So in a healthy way, that is how I've utilized those sad songs in the past, where your heart can become so hardened that I don't even know how to grieve this. I don't know how to cry. I don't know how to get these emotions out. I don't know how to express it. And the music can help. The music can help. But what I'm saying is, if you're feeling sad and you put on sad music and you just want to be even more sad and you're sulking, we're not doing that. Stand up. We're getting up and we're going to go out there and live on purpose. We're not going to sit here and sulk. That's what I'm saying. We're not doing that. So cut off all the sad things, all the things that make you feel like crap, that remind you of the breakup, that remind you of this person, any songs that y'all have together. Cut out anything that's going to enable you and trigger you to continue and, spiral. We don't want you to spiral. And while we're cutting stuff off, go ahead and block him. Go ahead and block him. Block him if you can. If he is the father of your child, don't block him. But if do you? But let's do this. If he's your boyfriend and y'all have no kids together, block him. Why? Because you don't want, one, the temptation to have to go back to his page and look and see who he's with, what he's doing, what he got going on. You don't even want the temptation. Block him so you don't even see it, so you can't even search it. Obviously, you can go on your block list and do all that, but like, are you really going to? Because then we gonna have to have another conversation if we're gonna go through the trouble of unblocking to check to unblock. Like, just block that man, block that woman, and move on. Move on. If we're closing that door, we're closing it completely, and we shouldn't allow the temptation to linger any longer. If you want the journey to be quicker and beneficial to you as a human being, you'll shut that door and you'll shut it down completely and immediately. And you won't leave it open for future check-ins and future temperature checks of, happy birthday and how you doing, and just checking in, just want to see how you're doing. No. And think about this in a way that it's a healthy boundary for you, because when we go through heartbreak in any form, we tend to want to protect ourselves. Our whole being goes into protection mode, and we don't let anybody in. That's when we try to like isolate and we really go into protection mode. But blocking somebody, I believe, is a healthy boundary if it's necessary, right? If you're not being reckless and you're doing it with the right heart and mind, like, blocking people is absolutely necessary and can be a healthy boundary for you and that person. So I'm not tempted to look, and you're not tempted to check on me either. Like, go live your life. God bless you. The next thing that I would suggest is for you to get a solid community. Get yourself a solid community of family, friends, people that you can lean on and support you during this time, because, again, doing it alone does not serve you. If anything, those negative voices that speak death over you become louder because you're by yourself. You're hearing these voices, they're negative voices, and you're telling yourself all these things, but there's no one to say, hold on, that's not true. That's not true. There's still purpose on the inside of you. There's still a life to live. Just because the relationship is over, it doesn't mean that you're over. If you're still breathing and you're watching this, you still have a purpose to go out there and do. And God still has you for a reason. He still has you here for a reason. And this relationship has served its purpose. And I pray that you get to a place where you can collect the wisdom of the experience of the relationship, and you can move on with your life in a way that best serves you, that doesn't put you in further damage and hurt and pain. And I went off on a tangent there. We were talking about community. Hold on. You want to get yourself a solid community, though, because those people are going to encourage you to take the healthier route, to do the right thing, to not jump into another relationship, but to take the time to heal and to unpack some of the damage that was done over the time that you've spent in this relationship with this person and this ex. The relationship didn't work out for a reason. So let's unpack those boxes, because going over here to Joe Schmo, he's not going to fix what this man did or what you did to this man or your thoughts now to men because you've experienced this with this person. No, you need to deal with that with yourself and then go meet Joe Schmo. The next thing I think that you should do if you're trying to move on from your ex, is to journal. You're probably feeling a lot of emotions. You're probably experiencing a lot of things in between time right now. And I think that for two reasons you should journal. One, document this season of your life. Whether it's like a video, you record videos on your phone of yourself, but really document this time, because I firmly believe that God is not going to keep you where you are right now. There's no way that you're going to stay unless you choose to lay down and stay in that place. You are not going to stay in the place that you're in right now. The beautiful thing to look back on journals and see where I was in a previous season, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and the growth and the process and the lessons along the way. Because these things are the things that fuel what I do today. In sharing with you guys, I'm able to now share the lessons of the things that I've learned because I took the time to document what happened to me, how I felt about it, what was my heart on the subject, and then some of the experiences along the way. So you want to document, and then also being able to see the progress and see that, like, I was so broken. I was in a place, like, when I was separated, I was I was so broken. I was so broken. I didn't know who I was, and I didn't know my worth and my value. And I really thought that my life and everything was over. Like, I really thought that there was nothing left of justice, truly. And to see how low I was, and now I'm not where I want to be. I'm not even in a relationship right now, but I am so far from that girl that was writing in that journal and that was so desperate for validation and love and attention and all of the things from this person and all the persons after the person, like, and just not being good with me. Journaling also confronts you. Like, you meet you on the page when you really journal and you, like, confront yourself. And so I think it's a beautiful thing. I stand 10 toes down behind journaling. If you watch the show, we love to journal over here. We journal over here. We document over here. We celebrate the progress as well. So this is a bonus tip. It's just a shameless plug to one of my previous episodes. I talked about creating an environment for healing. And I think it's important to note in this episode that you need to make sure that your environment is also set up for you to heal. Because if you're trying to move on from your ex and you got pictures everywhere and you got his things are everywhere, things are just set up in a certain way that just reminds you of this person, or y'all know how we do. We got that box or that things. We got a collection of the things and the memories and stuff. Get rid of all of that. Remove it out of your space, because in order to grow, and if you've decided that you want to heal and move on, that's got to go. We don't have space for that, because we need to make space for what we want. We want to make space for the things that are aligned with us, all of that. So if you haven't already, go ahead and check out episode 4, I believe, creating an environment for healing. I even also have a guide that goes along with the video that will help you start creating your environment now. I will link that somewhere for you to go check that video out. I think it'll be also helpful for you as well. So the last thing that I want to share is for you to make up your mind. You got to make up your mind. This video is not for the person that still wants to do the back and forth thing with their ex, who wants to play around with them for when they're feeling lonely and then come home and cry and say that you want to move on. This is not for you. This is for the people who have already made up their mind and decided this person is not my person. They're not the person for me. This didn't work out. I'm closing the door completely. What do I do next? Everything I shared in the video is for you. You need to make up your mind and choose to heal. Choose to do the work, the hard stuff, to sit with yourself and really heal. I want you to get in the mirror and love the person looking back at you. Love her, him, where you are right here in this moment. Not when you get healed. Love yourself in this moment right now, in the messy middle, and every step forward towards healing. And you got this. You got this. Breakups suck. Let me just have a real moment with y'all. Breakups suck. They don't feel good, and they're not intended to feel good. It is a loss. Whether you're with somebody for a couple months, a couple years, a couple decades, it sucks and it doesn't feel good, and a loss is a loss. And I think when we choose to steward that loss, meaning we don't take the damage that someone did to us and go out and damage other people. We say, you know what? That hurts. I'll take the L because I didn't know better. But now that I know better, I'm going to choose to do better and keep trying. And I'm not going to give up on love and give up on relationships, but I'm going to keep on trying to love people the right way and use wisdom when choosing to be in relationship with somebody. Let me make sure I say this too. This is not the time for you to start beating yourself up for you to, with your words or with your actions, punishing yourself. This is not the time for none of that. Or for shoulda, coulda, woulda, if only I did XYZ. Absolutely not. This is not the time for that. This is the time for you to say, listen, I'm still mad. I'm still hurting. I'm still sad. I still want to be with this person, whatever it is that you're feeling right now, and saying, and get all that down on paper. Get that down in your journal. You write all that stuff out, and then you ask yourself, what do I want from me? Tell yourself, because it's true, whether you believe it in this moment or not, there is more for me out there. And not out there, far out there, somewhere in the abyss. No, God is sending me my person. God is preparing me and that person to meet and for it to be a beautiful love story. That's it. That's all. And be content knowing that that person is on their way and that you are now in preparation for when that person comes. And that's a whole nother video, how you prepare yourself for your person versus right now I'm gonna focus on healing. Because me and this person been through some stuff. We was in a relationship. How I showed up in that relationship, we need to unpack that with a therapist. We need to talk about how I showed up in some of those scenarios. We need to talk about when they did what they did or said what they said and how it landed in my heart, how I can overcome that. Because listen, rejection doesn't stop now that this person, you're no longer with this person. That is not the last time that you're going to be rejected or even disappointed. And listen, that was tough for me to learn. I learned that in therapy. Like, this is not going to be the last time that you're going to be disappointed and rejected. What tool can I use to help regulate me when I feel rejected? Or how do I stop taking things personal to where I feel rejected when people aren't even rejecting me? Whatever it is, start doing the work. It'll benefit you. It'll help you.
Piece it together. Piece it together.
So Piece It Together is a part of the show where we piece it together. We take what we've learned through this episode as well as a practical, actionable step that we can do with the knowledge that we now have. I want you to write down all the things that you didn't get from your ex that you needed. Write down all the things that you wish you would have gotten from your ex, whether that was more patience, more compassion, if you wanted them to stay, if you wanted them to love you more, whatever you didn't get from your ex, I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. Things that you didn't get that you need, not just things you didn't get, but things that you didn't get that you need in a relationship. And then once you've completed the list, I want you to ask yourself, do I have the ability to give myself these things on this list? If you have on that list, I wish my ex would have been more understanding. Can you give yourself understanding? Can I show myself understanding when I miss the mark, when I make a mistake, when I don't get it right? Can I show grace and understanding for myself? I needed him to be honest, and he wasn't honest with me. Do you have the ability to give yourself honesty, transparency, and openness? Can you be open and transparent and honest with yourself? Ask yourself these questions. Write it down and have that tough conversation. Do I have the ability to give myself these things? Because before anybody can come into your life and give you the things that you desire, you have to first give them to yourself. You have to heal first. The person that hurt you is not coming back to repair and heal you. You have to heal and then also give yourself the things that you want someone else to give to you. So if you want love, you need to give love. If you want patience, you need to give patience. If you want forgiveness, you need to give forgiveness. You see what I'm saying? You see how it works? You got to give it to get it. And listen, you deserve it anyway. So if the idea of you giving yourself something first before you expect someone else to give it to you is hard for you to understand or hard for you to conceptualize, ma'am, sir, we need to have a different conversation because you deserve it. You deserve all the things that you desire from someone else, and you deserve to give it to yourself. So be the example. Give it to yourself, sis, sir. Thank you guys so much for watching the show. I really do appreciate every single view, every single like, every single subscriber. I really do appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time and watching the show. If this was helpful to you, give it a thumbs up. It lets me know that this type of content is helpful and that people actually, need it, like it, want it, desire it, all of that good stuff. If you've made it to this part of the video and you have not already subscribed, we are patient around here. We'll wait for you to do that. And while you're doing that, thank you in advance for subscribing. Thank you for sticking around. And I do post videos every single week. With that being said, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.